Draw up stuff from the past that gave us stuff for the future. So now we know we're at a major high. So we got to see price action at this level. We got to see evening star, morning stars, all these different engulfings, all these different type of structures that may happen here. And that's what we figure out, if we want to get back into this trade, because we already made our move. We already made our money. Or we just going to watch and look for it to fulfill what has not happened down here. No retracement, no sell. But we know that this is open and there's room for price to correct itself. Meaning it came here, now it wants to come test any level that happened back here. We can always want to expect it to do that once it hits a major high. And major highs come off a daily, weekly, monthly. Those are major highs. Anything under that, or I guess, I don't want to call them minor highs, but they're minor highs to the whole scheme of the move. So our trade is over, now we're watching again. Oh, shit. We had a major daily high level. If this was to break that, I need to know where it's going to go. I'm going to go up. I'm going to go up now for this reason and look for levels. So here, we had an engulfing back here, a bearish engulfing, which made that downtrend happen, right? So I definitely want to mark that, right? Boom. And I may go back and say, oh, okay, yeah, it bounces there a lot. All right, so go back to this daily. So bang, stretch it out a little bit. Let me minimize this down a little bit, give it some more room to look at it. Bang. Bearish engulfing happened here. So right now, I have potential for this move to start to come back down, because evening star, engulfing. What makes it not locked in yet is the fact that I made a bullish engulfing where the bearish got bullied by the buyers. The sellers got bullied by the buyers, but they're right behind that. Sellers said, no, we're going to bully you, and they did so. Now, if we look at this candle here, it hasn't came up and made another engulfing or broke the high. Not even the close, not yet, right? So now we got the breakout. But we probably wouldn't have took that trade. Why? It didn't give me, yeah, I mean, it was
no good signs.
It didn't give me that good sign.
Confirmations. Yeah.
So I would call a missed trade is always a good trade because you don't blow your bread. So let's wait. Retested it. Now when it retested it, where I like it, I want to see at least 50% of that wick come, and then it give me price action of some type of bullish move, bearish move, or whatever. In this instance, I'm looking for a bullish move because it's been bullish. So when it came up, made the new high, it came down, it attempted to retest that, but it wicked off of that. So price didn't give me a nice long candle. So I don't like it yet, because I would rather hit here, because that's where it's been hitting. Here it fell short. So let it play. Bang. Now I got a bullish engulfing, right? Next candle, I may say I want to look for a trade for it to go bullish. I want to get into risk reward, but I don't want to do so. I'm going to give you a small snippet of it. There's less room to hit that high than it is for it to hit this low. So let's say I did want to put a trade in at a high of this statue. I would have to find a significant low that price may not come back to. And in all honesty, in this trade, if I was to map it out for a buy, right? Let's say if it's right here where the engulfing happened, because I'm looking forward to retest the neckline of that. And why do I see another neckline? Because it's where it broke at. It's where the engulfing broke the close of the last candle, the candle before the engulfing. So, bang, right? Hit my line, bro. Bang. Reason why, for me, I may not like is because my major low was here, right? So if I was to put a risk to reward, I would have to have it way down here, and then where I would actually make money could possibly stop way up here. That don't make sense. Yeah. Right? Or I could say, well, this was the last neckline, bounced here. So in order to say that's a major area within this major area, that's a major area, right? So I may say, okay, maybe if I do want to take the risk, I'm going to make my stop loss right below that neckline. Now, what's the ratio on this one now?
It's a little bit better, but not.
But it ain't even a one for one.
Right.
You know, you're not going to gain the same amount that you would lose if you lost a trade. So it's still not worth it, right?
Right.
I wouldn't take it. I'd keep watching personally. I already got my move off this, so you got to be thankful.
Right.
But we'll leave it up there. Let's see what happens. Continued up.
That's nice.
But you're okay with it though, right? Because you mapped that out. Even though you get it, I mapped that out. Bull tested, neckline got tested. Look, neckline cleanly got tested. So depending on how you want to risk it, and sometimes you may say that neckline got tested too perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna take the trade. I'm gonna put the stop loss here. This is when you get more advanced. I'm gonna put the stop loss here. Now my risk to reward is a 2-for-1. Okay, if it bumps me out, cool. I'm not sweating it. It's definitely not taking all the profits I got off of this. And I'm not gonna risk as much anyway because I know my ceiling is real close.
And point out that neckline again where it got tested. Why you got it up like that?
You see that wick of this candle came down and tested that. That wick right there, tested. Remember we said this was the neckline because that's where the engulfing broke out at.
Right, yeah.
Before it did it impulse, it tested that. And then you got the push up. Now we at a super major high because what? This is a weekly high. This is a weekly high. So now that we got to that weekly high, if it breaks out, our next major high is here. Now this would be an even stronger resistance because what? We got double tops. Unlike on this major high, it wasn't a double top. It was just a retracement and then boom. So now, you know, in all aspects, we like, okay, this thing may be losing gas soon. It's getting to all the extreme highs. Let's wait. Let's see how price reacts. Bam, look at that. Liquidity. They trying to take out everybody that got their money on that move. So if we know it's searching for liquidity, it's a possibility that it may want to turn around because it looks like it's searching for liquidity. And it could search and try to get this liquidity and say it's not done pushing. It may want to go to the all-time major high. You know, all-time major high, which is that weekly. Or it may say, I need to come get the liquidity from all these people that got in down here. Right? So we have to watch out for that. So I'm gonna close this down a little bit because the trade was over right here. Let me see what kind of structure this drew up. This gave me got somewhat of a nice evening star setup right here, right? But what kind of hammer is in the, what kind of, I gave you the answer. What kind of candle was that in the middle of the, what is this candle? Oh, for what I told you. This middle
Okay,
one.
that's a goatee. Dang, I would keep looking at it. It's the bearish.
There's what?
Bearish candlestick with a bullish structure.
You ain't telling me nothing yet. Bet. So, we're waiting. We gotta use something. It ain't telling me nothing yet. Bang. Now, what I say all the time, I always say, let me see. I should have did it before I went there. What is 50% of that liquidity?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I know 50 cents somewhere around there. Because that's 50% of the wick. Let's see how it reacts there.
Fake out.
And what was that? That middle candle was a fake out candle, right?
Mm-hmm. Fake out. They made them sell they got their money. They sell, and then they snatched it again. I get mad.
Boom, did that liquidity, came 50% of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And came and retested the evening star, right? Gave me 2 dojis and then an engulfing. And then what else did it do before it did that? It damn near retested that high before it took off that we got from, I think we got it from back here, right? I think we got it from, yeah, we got it from back there. I just want to show you so you understand. Remember this high?
Yep.
So it's repeating, repetitive, just doing the same thing at different times, different ways, whatever. So now we're like, oh, okay, so it held there. The next high we looking for is that next all-time high, which is up here. Now, to get there, how many times may it have an issue or have, almost like we did before, where there's other highs inside the all-time high? Well, we got the tweezer that happened here. We got the engulfing that happened here. And I would call this a neck because it came up, came down, went up, came down, retested, came down, went up, came here, retested, went down. So let's say if I'm using this level here to see where the last neckline was at, the last major consolidation had a neckline. So there. So if I'm buying this, I would know that my TP is here and my TP is at the all-time high. If I'm staying with this bull structure, looking for entry. So let's test it again. Now we got a bull structure of the engulfing. Past it broke out from the high. We always gotta expect it to retest a high. Always gotta expect it to retest a high. I always want to make sure I mark it and know it. And if I'm gonna buy it, I'm only gonna buy it. I'm only gonna buy it from here or here because yeah, I got tweezer and it may get a double bottom. So any of these two that I see a nice good structure to it, and I'm gonna take it all the way up to my all-time high. With the understanding that it may stall out here. All right. All right. Let's see what we have. What we got?
We got a bullish with a bearish structure. That's the alfalfa.
So it's what?
It's a lie. I mean, it's a fake out.
It could be a fake out. Behind that we got a what?
Engulfing.
So engulfing. So that may be our signal to come retest this here. Because we still making high highs, high lows. So we want to see if it comes down and does that. It gives us something.
Yep.
Fake out.
Fake out.
We didn't get in the trade because it never came to where we want to get in at. So we don't want to mess with it. We just missed it. What we got?
Got engulfing.
The break of that engulfing was here. That's another neckline for that situation. Oh, price action. You may say you want to do something like this. How much space we got left? Oh, we got a good amount of space here. Made a back-to-back bullish engulfing. Let's say we do want to do a trade like this. Let's just say that's the low, that's the last low, and that's the last low before that. Let's have our stop loss at where our original entry would have been. Taking it up to the all-time high. All right. So, man, what the heck just happened? I may say my stop loss may want to be below that last low, or my stop loss may want to be within my entry. I'm not going to get into how I measure my stop loss just yet. Let's see what happens. All right, there's another thing, my fault, before we went into that. There's something that I just seen that before I even thought about that we need to pay attention to. Came up here, but it didn't come and make a new high. So there's a possibility that it could turn around. I'm sorry, I didn't even before I pressed the button. And what did it do? It gave me engulfing back the other way. So what it's doing is mirroring. It's doing a lot of mirroring. Bullish engulfing, then bullish engulfing, then come back with bearish engulfing, etc., etc. It's still bullish because I'm uptrending. So say we are in that, and we're in drawdown right now. Stop. This may be a signal that I'm going to cut my losses because I'm starting to get this downtrend.
Gotcha.
Lower low.
Lower high.
So, and that goes back to now when you go and you back test with yourself, you're gonna say, I know why I lost that trade. Why? It was at an all-time high. It just broke an all-time high, and then it stalled out, and it started getting me lower low. So I can accept that because I know what happened, and I knew that was possible, right? So we still looking like if it is gonna buy up, it's got to come to what our original thought, back down to this area to retest that all-time high that it broke. Let's see what happens. Bang. If you had a limit, or if you was paying attention on a small time frame or whatever, because we're not gonna go into small time frame shit. It just retested that. So let's say if you wanted to get a scalp within that or a day trade within that, you would have got it because it came down there, clicked onto the entry that you originally, and then came back up into new terminology, what we call the wedge or the channel. Came back into the channel. You probably would have took profits off it just coming back into that channel. Like, all right, let me just take that or take a piece of that because my full analysis of it going to the all-time high may have been canceled out because it started to have a downward channel, which could be building up what we call a supply zone.
And that's a flag.
Correct. So let's see what it do. You want to do this often, just back testing. Now, what candle was that?
Which one? That is
Somewhat of a
tweezer.
It's somewhat of a hammer,
Okay.
but it's not because, you know, we got so much wick on top of it.
Okay.
So it's like, it's close to, but it's a bullet structure, but it's coming off of engulfing. So, you know, it's not strong like an actual hammer that has most of the body at the top,
Okay.
like these do, or like that one's close, and, you know, like that one is,
Okay.
so on and so on.
But it's a hammer though.
It's you know, it's an indecisive, but it's close to being a hammer.
Okay.
So what you know in that, when you seen this candle form before this even happened,
Bullish candle with a bearish structure.
this one?
Yeah.
No, that's the bull, because it's a bull candle, and it's got more leg. It's got more. It's got the beard at the bottom. It's longer, a longer wick at the bottom, but it still got too much wick at the top, so it's not strong to me. But with that said, right after that we got an engulfing, right? So we see that this buy is losing strength. I'm gonna map out what I think without even saying that. So if I'm doing it, I'm going like this. Okay, this look like a supply zone building up, right? Okay, what do I consider the supply zone? So I had a bounce that came up here. It stayed. It didn't break that. Came here. I want you to check me out on what I'm looking at, because I'm gonna highlight it. All right, I had boom, came up, then stalled out here, came here, gave me a higher high, then gave me a lower low. Okay, that's consolidation. Then it came down, gave me a lower low, then gave me a lower high, and then it did it again. Okay, let me do something. That looks like it's building up supply. So the supply started here, and it started here. I bet. Boom. When I see that candle, I got a wick here that could be liquidity getting cleaned up, and it's back at the all-time high. So I haven't fully broke out of the supply area. So if I did, because I want to say that I'm losing pressure, if I did want to hit a sell, I want to hit a sell from here, which is the last high, or I want to look and see where I can find a neckline. Okay, extended looking little morning star here that failed to break out, and extended little evening that kind of came here. All right, wick off, bounce, bounce, bounce. All right, this is my line right here. And you can start to erase these lines and then, or like set it on certain time frames. So why do I call this a neckline? Because bang, came through, bounced, came back down, bounced again, broke through, came up, retested this area, gave me a weak ass hammer, then engulfed. All right, so I would be comfortable with here, or even up there with my stop loss up here. Now let's go back to what we noted before. Liquidity got cleaned here. We know that before. So if it was coming to retest that area where it caught liquidity again, it looks something like that. And beyond that, the last time we had a breakout and a bounce was here. So here at the bottom of that wick, and here is keys, points where I could probably catch some money. It's outside the channel, retested the bottom of the channel, gave me engulfing. I may have should have caught it when I seen this, but it's okay. If I don't catch it, it's all good. I'm not gonna catch every trade. Boom, I'm in drawdown. Broke out of the upside channel. Boom, I might have put another entry in right here, because I know those levels. Engulfing. Okay, broke out, lost the trade. And I did that on purpose. Why did I lose that trade, and what did I not pay attention to say get out of it? What do you think should have been your signal to say, when I hopped into this this sell right here, why was it bad?
I say because it broke that, this right here, it broke above that
That channel?
channel.
That's one. What's another one that happened?
Oh, this is a fake out.
We had a bullish engulfing on a major line. So before
bullish engulf. Oh, right here. Okay.
Because we're not in cell structure yet, because we still are we've been getting all-time highs broken.
Right, and it's still haven't retraced that other high. It's got to go there. It's wanting to go there.
So that's the trade where we rushed it. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm glad you did that, because I needed to. It was a good lesson.
Need to see it fell.
Yeah.
So it gave us a bearish inside. It was giving us high, low, and then it came down, and
overall, no matter what it does, you still got to pay attention to the confirmations. That's telling you what it's going to really do.
It never did that, so we never got a reaction off of this yet. Remember, it broke that. That was the all-time high we had before. It broke that. It never came back down and retested it and gave us liquidity. It cleaned up the liquidity full this time, gave us an indecisive doji, right? Then it consolidated, and it kind of, and then it engulfed. So right there, once I get a rejection right here, then it doesn't want to break anymore, and then I see it engulf. Now, mind you, we're on a daily, and I see it engulf right here off of a level that it bounces off. My entry, or after I see it engulf, I know I don't want to mess with that trade. It's too big of a candle going against me compared to this candle, for one. So the engulfment is huge, and it bounced at a key area that held structure. Boom, boom, came up, rejected a little liquidity, came, tested 50% of liquidity, came up, gave me a downward wedge, broke out the wedge, but the wedge never came back down here. It stayed at my high. So right then when that happened, I don't even open that trade at that, catching at this level. I probably want to take it the other way. So that's why that was a bad trade. Your confirmations on how you trade didn't get fulfilled. It came, it didn't really break this. It didn't break this low and give me a structure, and it didn't come back down to our last major level. It still kind of sat around here. So basically what happened is it built up supply and then made it a demand zone once it broke the high. Now it's a demand zone because it broke that high that made it a supply. So you lose some, you win some. Now, of course, your risk to reward, you wouldn't trip. Engulfing form. As of right now, it's a golfing form. We're going to play it one more time to see if it closes out. Closed out. Look at that. Bang. That's retracement. Fast move. 2 moves, it came back into this area. Came back into the high. Didn't make a new low yet, but we know we got what? That's our neck. And it came down to our neck. So now we're seeing what it may do at that neck. Is it going to hold trend? Which, if we take it from this low to that, oh shoot. This low, that low, we get a trend line like that. And I'm going to change the color so you can see it a little bit better. I'll just make it red because it's on the bottom. I'll make it a little bit thicker. Right? Higher high, higher low. Still bullish. We're going upwards. That's a retracement because it was very fast, engulfed, and it's in an area where we know it didn't bounce off an all-time high. But I always sometimes and I won't even keep it. I may keep it, I'll keep it. So when I do that, I see that that's where it rejected at. I'll make the line, I'll zoom out, or I'll go to a bigger time frame. Let's do a bigger time frame, it's probably easier. And see, we'll see that where I put it at, because I put it at the close, that's why it's right here. Bounce, that's why you got that rejection before. So it's done that before. It's retraced at that level before it made a high. Came down, came up. After it hit the all-time high and it made the engulf it came and retested it before making a lower high on a bigger time frame. So that's why we got that rejection there. All right, bet. So if I'm making a trade, right, I know that if I'm going to make a sell trade, I got to see what? I got to see it come touch and tap the high, giving me a double top, or come make a lower high, testing the neck of that bullish move, and then right behind it, that bearish move, because we got an engulfing here, and then we got an engulfing here, bullish engulfing and bearish engulfing. So this level, actually I already got a line there, is key. And sometimes it's not perfect. That's why I use zone. Sometimes I may say just this whole area right here. What price may possibly do. But I'm still bullish if I want to take trades for a bull. I'm still looking for buy trades. So now that I came back down to this neckline and kept the trend, I may see structure to get me a bullish move up. May. Bang. It rejected there. That's the candle. It didn't engulf. So I'm going to wait. Next candle. It came down. Boom. Came up. It still didn't give a bull impression. It got a last joint was a bear with bull uptrend. But but what I don't like is this. I don't like that. Came up, boom, low, came up, high. This low is lower than this low. All-time high got tested. What I could see possibly forming, because I do want to see a double top or information, or this right here get tested to give me information. But I do know that I had a problem with price breaking at this level. So my question is, all right, might sell down, because I see that this could possibly be a right, this whole area right here, and then this reaction right here. So I'm going to test a little bit of what we spoke yesterday. What do you see could possibly be forming? And what's forming usually has an M in it. And what I'll do is I'll get rid of the candle structure. Now look, this could possibly this could possibly be a shoulder to this head. If I went to a bigger time frame, I probably would see somewhat of an M. So I know that could be formulating, right? What else could be formulating? I would say a W, but this would be a real ugly W where the it's not coming from here up and boom and doing that. It's coming from a lower standpoint to a higher standpoint down. So it's not a real clean W. It's more of a cleaner head and shoulder kind of forming, because it's finding this neckline to be nice. So shoulder, head, necktie. Right? So I would say, shoot, if I get the right price action, especially on the lower time frame, I may want to see something like this. So where liquidity was bounced here, that's outside the trend. The last markup I got on the line is here. The last major bounce was there. So I'm looking at something like this. All right. Now I always want to combat that. All right, that could possibly not happen, because what? All-time high, it didn't happen at an all-time high. All-time high is here, right? So this could be the whole, this could be the whole shoulder. But as of right now, this is the shoulder and that's the head. But this could become the shoulder. This whole move here, or this, I should say, become the shoulder. But if I get that nice good pricing I like, I may take that sell back down. Looking for any support or any type of stoppage in this area here, because that's where it bounced at. You know what I'm saying? And the trend hasn't been broken. All right. So let's look at that. All right, we tested. We sold it. Boom. Came down to the trend line. Got a reaction. Trade might be over. Comes back and revisits. Oh. Confusion. Still within the trend, right? Played it. So higher low. But now we're getting lower highs. Looks like Head and Shoulders is trying to form. Because now we got lower high. I mean a higher high. And then we got a lower high. Which means this area could be the other side of the shoulder. Could be. We don't know yet. We're in the trade. Tap my entry again. Wicked off my entry. Came down. Squeezing. Broke out of my trend line. Possibly will retest my trend line. Came back down to the last high here. Printed me a morning star. Printed me an evening star. Mirror. That's a mirror action right there. Mirror actions can be tricky at times because it could go with the morning star, right? That's the first structure showed, and then the second structure showed the opposite. Right. But it didn't break. It just retested. It wicked when it came down. We got some key there too. So this with trading, I ain't gonna say it gets difficult, but you're seeing that it's forming something. It's forming a real good supply zone. Once again, it's consolidating within here. It did it here before, it broke out on us, which if we seen this and then we seen this shoulder form and then we seen a head and then we seen this shoulder starting to form, we could say we got consolidation kind of forming here. We're losing pressure. We're getting a structure of like a head and shoulder. And what else was it I was gonna say? We see supply, we see a shoulder, we see a head, we see another shoulder. Break of trend line. So when I go back, I say, okay, so this could have been the final move. This could have been the setup, getting ready for it to be a downtrend. This could be the fake out, consolidation, fake out, expansion. We got to know that, okay, this may be what's going on. Formation, but we do see consolidation. We got a right shoulder, we got a head, and then we got a small shoulder here. And then it came and gave us another little shoulder, came back and fully retested that. We entered the trade, boom, 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 and we kind of grabbed it right here, right? No, we grabbed it off of this retest. Grabbed it off of that, boom, and it sold, then it came back up and stayed in the trend. So now we're trying to see what structure, is it give us the head and shoulder, or is it trying to complete a W and a smaller head and shoulder? And how you can see that there's a smaller head and shoulder is came down, made a turn, came lower. I think what he's doing is made a turn, and then right there. So it looks like it's an inverted head and shoulder, right? And why? So it's kind of, what I say, somewhat strong because it stayed within the uptrend. But we do know bigger and long distance wise, it's got a regular head and shoulder. So for me, it being a high that we already discussed, these are all-time highs. It made one, cut there, but the major all-time highs up here. So there's still potential to hit here to make its decision. But the way it seems, it likes to bounce in here. It broke out one time and it didn't like it. It came down real quick, as we shown. Came up, rejected that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4 downward moves. 4 white knights. Came up, made an engulfing off the trend line. Then came back here and didn't make a bearish movement yet. Didn't. But we were in it from this move just because we seen this engulf and come up and make a lower low. So now we want to see which head and shoulders is valid. The smaller and inverted or the bigger. For me, I feel like it's the bigger because it keeps rejecting it, but we'll see. Broke out the trend line. Bang. When it broke out the trend line, we in profit. It's looking bearish. The only thing that can hold us up now is this level here, because bounced on the way up, broke through, bounced on the way down, went back up, came back, tapped it, went back up, but failed to come up high. So now we in profit. We like the trade, and we would take it down to the levels that we already had. But we also know that liquidity was once grabbed here as well. So we do want to make sure we know what, pay attention to price reacting at our yellow line where liquidity was grabbed before. And if it does slow down here, then I'm looking to see how price reacts off the trend line up here. Where we going? $56.
Take it. 38 minutes, that's good.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna do it right quick. So we'll see what happens. So another entry you may want to take is if it comes here and gives us a bearish look underneath and close underneath this trend line, you could potentially put another sell in there. Let's check it real quick. Let's see what it does. So instead of reacting at the 50 liquidity, it reacted here once again and gave a morning star. We tested the morning star, gave a mirror with the evening after it, hammer, possibilities going up. Engulfing, possibilities consolidated. Bang, hit the trend line, went in, probably gonna dip out a little bit, went back in, rejected, the high, the shoulder, rejected. Engulfing, consolidation, came back up, liquidity mark, bounced off the liquidity. Head, shoulder, outside the trend.
Head, shoulder, where?
Shoulder,
So
head, shoulder.
Okay.
Came back in. Decided that this is the shoulder. Got an aggressive hammer right there.
Mm-hmm.
Morning star that didn't come and fill that yet. Engulfed.
Yeah, go get cameraman.
I'm gonna get camera. Should be alright. Price is stolen. It doesn't want to go up, doesn't want to go down. This is a supply area until we get a breakout in supply. Let's speed it up real quick. So see, we could have been sitting in this trade this whole time if we didn't take profits here. Head and shoulders completed. Came up, boom, boom, broke that, came down. Remember that liquidity? Broke through that, came back down to that foot and got full liquidity right there. If I put my line across it, full liquidity right there, and then reacted, came back here, and now you want to see if it's going to hold that structure. Low, low, engulfing, rejected again. Major level.
So even if the wick gets in there, you still get the trade, and you.
Yeah,
TP?
the wick's into the year, you'll hit the TP
Okay,
for that
TP.
one set.
Okay.
Yep.